Hi, I'm Bernd Leven, Head of Energy Performance in Group Technology. The role of my team is to lead energy strategy across Vodafone globally and to work with the group teams, the local market teams in driving energy efficiency improvement, sourcing renewable electricity, and managing our energy data. Today, I will talk about how we set our energy and greenhouse gas reduction target, what our strategy is to achieve these targets, and go into a few specific technologies around smart sites and energy data management. Last year, our CEO launched our new purpose as Vodafone. We are covering three areas: digital society, inclusion, and the planet. In the planet area, we align our strategy with the UN Sustainable Development Goal, in particular Goal 7, which covers clean and affordable energy, and Goal 13, which covers climate action. When we did a materiality assessment of our own environmental impacts, we identified that energy, greenhouse gas emissions, and e-waste are our most material impacts. When we talk about reducing our own environmental impact, we can look at three dimensions. We can look at our direct environmental impacts, so reducing the energy consumption of our operations and driving down our greenhouse gas emissions. But we can also look at some indirect impacts. Looking at the indirect emissions, we source a lot of equipment from our suppliers, either to run our network or to sell them to our customers, like mobile phone devices. We work with our suppliers to reduce emissions and environmental impacts when they produce that equipment. So, for example, we work with the equipment suppliers to reduce the carbon footprint of their product and their production processes. But we also work with suppliers in providing devices to our customers that are more environmentally friendly. One example is the Fairphone that we launched across a number of European markets last year. And that's a phone which is built in a way that it can be easily repaired. It has a lot of recycled components and it can be refurbished after the initial phase of use. So we are giving choices to our customers by bringing these products onto our shelves. We're also enabling our customers with products and services to be more energy efficient and reducing their own carbon footprint. A good example is the IoT technology, where we help, for example, logistics companies optimizing their truck routes, reducing mileage, optimizing maintenance, which helps them to reduce their fuel consumption and their greenhouse gas emissions. So we cover the three areas. The responsibility of my team is focusing on the first one, where we drive down our own energy consumption and carbon footprint. So looking where Vodafone stands today, we use 5.6 terawatt hours of electricity. That's roughly the same as a small country like Luxembourg. We also emit 2 million tons of CO2 at the moment, which I said we want to halve to 1 million ton a year. And we currently purchase 26% of our electricity from renewable sources, and we expect that to go up significantly in the next financial year. We spend 700 million euros a year on energy, which means we have two drivers to address the energy topic. The first driver is, as I said, we have a big responsibility as a business to minimize our impact on the environment. But we also have a financial driver, with 700 million being a significant part of our OPEX bill, and pressures of rising energy prices and rising energy consumption driven by more bandwidth. We have a big cost challenge as well. So we have two incentives to optimize our energy consumption and reduce our carbon footprint and energy cost. Looking at how energy is used across Vodafone, the majority of our energy is used in mobile base stations, which consume about 55% of our total electricity, and another 10% is used by our fixed access network. In the core, we use about a quarter of our electricity, and only a very small share of our energy is used in office and retail shops. So Our main focus there is then to optimize the energy consumption in our technology sites, and that's why the energy program is driven out of group technology. So looking at our strategy, how we are trying to achieve the environmental targets, we have 4 strategic pillars. The first one is energy efficiency, because it's best for the environment not to use the energy in the first place, then try to provide them in a more environmentally friendly way. In addition, this has typically a positive business case and makes financial sense. As a second priority, we then invest in renewable generation on our sites, but we have physical constraints, often planning constraints or regulatory constraints. So the share of renewable supply we can cover from on-site generation is very limited. We therefore then need to source renewable electricity via the electricity grid. And our priority there is to contract directly with renewable developers. We help them in the project, in the development, to get their project financing agreed, because they have a guaranteed revenue stream by signing a long-term supply agreement with us, and that helps them to secure their project financing. The last component of our strategy then is just to source renewable electricity via renewable tariffs, and there are certificate schemes across most of our markets, especially in Europe, where there's a clear balance between the renewable electricity that's generated and the renewable electricity that's sold to end customers. And there's typically a government regulatory body involved in ensuring that the generation is only sold once. As energy efficiency is our highest priority, I want to go into a little bit more detail here. So our main challenge is that data traffic increases exponentially. Over the last 5 years, we've seen an increase in data traffic in our network by 1,000%. At the same time, we managed to keep energy consumption pretty flat and had low single-digit percentage increases year on year. The way how we achieved that is a mix of various technology programs. The biggest impact probably is the switch from 2G to 3G to 4G and now to 5G, which allows us to transmit much more data traffic with the same equipment and similar energy consumption. But we also did a number of programs in our data centers and technology sites where we, for example, virtualize our applications. That allows us to shut down a number of physical servers, bring the applications on one virtual server, which typically gives 80 to 90% energy and greenhouse gas emission savings. But we also invested about 70 million a year into power and cooling and controls upgrades in our estate, replacing inefficient older power and cooling systems with state-of-the-art technology, or shifting from mechanical cooling to free cooling or to just fan cooling, which has a significant benefit on the energy consumption. But I would like to highlight 2 specific projects where we use IoT technology. The first one is our smart site concept, where we connect a lot of devices on site to a remote modem, and then can access data, read and monitor certain data points on site, but can also change certain parameters on site. So the typical use cases are around power and cooling systems, where we can see if the energy saving modes are activated, or where we can see the temperature set points in our buildings and then optimize these set points remotely. But we also have significant benefits on the maintenance side. So by having a granular visibility of certain parameters, it allows us to reduce the site visits or to be more efficient in terms of sending the right team with the right spares. Because instead of just having an alarm or we lost service on site, we have a much more granular picture. We can say the power system failed or the cooling system failed, or we have a grid outage, which we can cover with our backup systems for a period of time. So it gives us much more a granular view what's going on site, which gives us significant cost savings in field operations. One example is in Turkey. When we implemented the technology, we managed to reduce our site visits by about 25%. We are currently rolling out their technologies in other markets as well. Italy has a high coverage of smart site concepts, and South Africa, Germany and the UK are currently in deployment of that technology. It all comes down to how you integrate the technology in your business processes. So it's not just about having the connectivity and the remote data points and sensors. It's also how do you adjust your field operations? How do you change your business processes and how people use the actual capabilities in practice to deliver the benefits? Another major tool that we use within Vodafone is our energy data management. We recently rolled out a new platform across 12 of our European markets, across 55,000 sites, with around 100,000 smart meter data feeds. This allows us in the group teams, but also our energy managers in the local markets, to monitor energy consumption on a very granular level. This enables them to benchmark, to find energy wastage, to plan their budget for the next years, but also to validate energy savings from all the projects that they implement on site to see if we get the returns that we expect. We also link the data platform to our big data analytics environment, where we merge energy data with other operational data like site inventory or site configuration data. And by merging the two data sets, we can be much more efficient in terms of allocating CapEx for network upgrades by taking into account which sites give us the highest benefit from an energy saving perspective if we replace legacy equipment during that capacity upgrade process. So there are a number of use cases that we have around energy data management. Our plan going forward is to further integrate energy data with maintenance data and other operational data, but also to onboard further countries. So the big focus now is on Central European countries and South Africa and Egypt, where we currently don't have a very developed smart metering solution. I hope that gave you a good idea on how we are addressing energy and greenhouse gas emissions in Vodafone and how we are meeting the planet topic in our Vodafone purpose. Our ambition is to improve 1 billion lives while halving our environmental impact. Improving our connectivity and keeping society going is very important, and we see that in particular now with the COVID crisis, where people are working from home, depend on our networks to live a reasonable normal life and do their job. But we also have a high responsibility, not just as Vodafone, but every big business and big organization, to minimize their environmental impact and to reduce their greenhouse gas emissions. I would be very interested how you are meeting these challenges and what we can do together to transform our society and make our operations more environmentally friendly. Looking forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much.